Joseph. We're going to start our service. Stand up and let's sing Surely the Presence.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and presence. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
Standing for our mission statement. We welcome all as we create loving community, teach universal truth, practice spiritual principles, and live life abundantly. And our lead prayer. Together we acknowledge, there we go. Together we acknowledge that the universe is safely guiding community into the future. We release all resistance to change, letting go of what was and embracing the new. We believe that the harmonizing power of love is showing us the way to navigate transition. Together we walk in faith as we welcome what and who is to come with open minds and hearts. Together we are willing and we are ready now. Thank God, and so it is. Please be seated. As most of us already know, the unity movement is found in the foundation is the healing power of prayer. So this morning for our opening prayer, I would like you to open your hearts to a prayer from Myrtle Fillmore. I am in tune with universal intelligence within and around me. I am aware of the amazing, wondrous reality of my divine nature. I am attuned to inner guidance. All my faculties are turned on. I listen for a subtle yet certain sense of direction. I live in confidence, taking every step in trust. Any question on my mind or concern in my heart, I now direct to divine wisdom. Wisdom arises as an intelligent signal, and I recognize it as both an answer and a sense of direction. God is wisdom. Therefore, I am wisdom, making wise decisions. And so it is. Our affirmation this morning is very simple, straightforward. I am one with God. Let's say this together. I am one with God. Is everybody joining us this morning for the very first time? Any new pieces on the world? Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, well, thank you for being here. Already got hold of you, I think. The guys will hand you a welcome packet. And we have to meet you after the service. And I want to welcome Reverend Jill coming back again today. She is the minister at the Unity Spiritual Center in Pickering, Ohio, which is near Columbus. So we're happy to have her back with us again today. And let's stand and sing again. It's time for blessings to the world.
You are the Lord, you are the hands, you are the voice, the spirit on earth. And who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the Lord, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth. And who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth. And who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world.
Please be seated. The daily word for Sunday 14 is holy. I discover holiness everywhere and in every way. There are certain places I like in the presence of God is especially here. Places that feel holy. These may include churches, other houses of worship, shrines, of faith, and nature. Any destination where I become vividly aware of the divine presence is holy ground. I remember these words for protection by Unity poet James Brene. Wherever I am, God is. The divine presence I know lives within me. It is the true essence of my life and every life. Today, my understanding expands. I discover the divine presence all around me and find holiness everywhere. Every person is a holy being. Every place is holy ground. And then from Genesis 28, verse 16, and Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, surely the Lord is in this place. And I didn't even know it. Let's stand again and sing. God in everything.
I see joy, I see peace, I see goodness around me. I see love in every breath I breathe. I see God in every way. I see happiness, I see freedom. I see the beauty that lives in me. I see perfection in my life brings. I see God in everything. I feel joy, I feel peace. I feel goodness surrounding me. I feel love in every breath I breathe. I feel love in everything. I feel happiness, I feel freedom. I feel the beauty that lives in me. I feel perfection in my life indeed. I feel God in everything. I choose joy, I choose peace. I choose goodness surrounding me. I choose love in every breath I breathe. I choose God in everything. I choose happiness, I choose freedom. I choose the beauty that lives in me. I choose relationship with my dreams. I choose God in everything. I know joy, I know peace. I know goodness surrounding me. I know love in every breath I breathe. I know God in everything. I know happiness, I know freedom. I know the beauty that is in me. I know perfection in my life brings. I know God in everything. I know God in everything.
And after our wonderful band sings, we will welcome Reverend Jim.
All my life I to the Christ within my soul. God forbid should be what no one else should know. Day by day, it wore me down. This aching inside. I had no choice but to set free what would not be denied. Beautiful brokenness, love will always win. Beautiful brokenness, that's how life is living. From the shattered pieces of life's perilous war, something lovely rises up, and I have been reborn. Day by day, I wait to someone I have never seen. Who'd have guessed that I could have lost someone like me? Beautiful brokenness, love will always win. Beautiful brokenness, that's how the Lord is out here in the open road, free my soul. Something is within you. Beautiful brokenness, love and beautiful brokenness, that's how
Breathtaking, wasn't it? We're going to come back to that song in a minute. But the first thing I want to say is welcome today. And it's good to be back with you on this wonderful summer day. So, here's what I did not do on the way to church today. I did not stop at polka mass at the German Fest. It's on the way. I think by the time I get done, I'll miss it, but I came. So that's something to consider. We can do polka sometime, right? New audience. All right, so I'm going to start off with something funny, I think. So it's been altered, the wording's been altered a little bit. There's a priest and a nun that are playing golf. And the priest says, Jesus, that thing made a whole putt. Darn, how did I miss that? And the nun says, Father, watch your language. That's a sin, you know.
Well, the next told the priest, and this is another, but dang it, missed it again. Father, please stop that. God does not like that, especially from a man of the collar. Well, the next told the priest, this is a shortcut. Gosh darn it, I missed it again. And then suddenly, a bolt of lightning surrounds the area, and out of the blue, a big voice is heard and says, damn, missed again. I forgot to tell you, it hit the nun. All right, so today we're talking about radical self-acceptance. And to me, that is working with that part of us that feels that we're less than perfect. And some of us have to, outpicture that in the world. So as the beautiful song, which is a Stoic song that they just sang, talking about a vessel. And that's, like you break your best bowl, your favorite bowl. And there's a tradition in the ceramics in Japan. It goes back about 600,000 years, and it's called kintsugi, which means joined with gold. And what it involves is this compound that has gold rubbed in it that they use to put the broken pieces back together. So that means if it's a lot of pieces or just a few pieces, they still put it back together so that bowl or that plate with the bowl then has these gold patterns in it. And then they proudly display that because to them it means that life is imperfect and all is well, just the way it is. And I really like, I wish I would have sent some pictures for a PowerPoint, but I like the bowls that have that in it because the glitter and the light shines on that gold, and it just, to me, means all is well. Because sometimes when I feel less than perfect, I don't feel that all is well. Or sometimes when I want to control things a little bit more than I should, there's not a feeling of peace and all is well. But when I think of that broken vessel that's put back together, all is well. And the one thing in that song was, let the light in. It's another way to look at it. That when we recognize our imperfections, we let the light in and we shine even more brightly. Likewise, the people who make Persian rugs, they always tie one flaw into the beautiful designs as a reminder that nothing is perfect. And the Japanese artists know that form of perfection, as well as the Persian artists, that's all part of life. And that shows up in a little investigation. That shows up in many traditions. It shows up in Islamic architecture. It shows up in Navajo book weaving. It shows up in our Washington cathedral. Everything's just a little bit off center at some point. That somewhere those developers and those creators are saying all is perfect just the way it is. Now, I want you to know it would take a perfectionist to find all that stuff, right? All those things that are hidden, kind of like a paradox. But that's the way that goes. So I have a question for you. What are you waiting for in life? What are you waiting for? That perfect situation or moment, are you waiting for that? And for most of us, we are beyond the perfect job, the perfect mate, or maybe we aren't. Maybe we're still waiting for that perfect place, that perfect thing to happen, perfect children. Now that at that point. But it could be also your perfect weight, your perfect car, your perfect home, or the perfect spiritual path. So basically, we might be waiting for an overall perfected self before any of us gives ourselves the gift of self-acceptance, even considers that we need to accept ourselves at some point just the way we are. Is that not true? Are we, I'm not fully there. I notice, oh, look at me, I'm off that self-acceptance bus again. I'm like, going into that spiral. But the more that I mature, I say spiritually, the more that mistakes become learning experiences. Mistakes. Things I can do over or be over. And all I have to do is recognize those, learn from them, and then clean them up in whatever way I have to do. So if it's in a dialogue with somebody, or but I really was not my best self, maybe I was cranky or whatever, I can go back and really clean that up. And that's a preference. But just when things don't happen all so well, what's the big deal? You know, if I'm getting a little stiff, what's the big deal? Is it, really gonna impact everybody's day? No, I'll just go with it. So, when we are waiting for something to happen, I think, at least when I was younger, then everything's gonna be okay. Is that not true? Have you had that in your life? When this happens, then my life will be perfect. Right? Well, it always presents something new. For instance, a new relationship. If you're single, if you've been single and you get in a new relationship, oh, that's it. Maybe you get married and you find out, oh, I didn't use a small print. It's not all I thought it was going to be. Ministries like that. Oh, there was a lot of small print that wasn't available for that. So then we have that we have to go with it, or we find ourselves all in a sit fit, right? Just I call it like chasing our tail round and around and around. And it's not a peaceful life to be stuck in that, let alone be around people who are perfectionists. Maybe you've known, my mom was one. When I was out on my own after college, and I realized I had a job all day, and I couldn't keep my apartment as clean as my mom kept her house. Because she didn't work all day. I mean, she didn't have a job she went to all day, but she had time to clean up. Now, the pandemic didn't prove that out for me, that I had time to clean, that I decided that was a priority for me. But we think that what we're waiting for will be it, and then we'll do it. But interesting, no matter what we think we are waiting for, it is not it. Because what is it is right here within us, right? It's the peace and the love of God, and that peace that passes all understanding. In his book, Spiritual Liberation, New Thought minister Michael Beckwith says that in the end, our deepest desire is union with our true nature, God, the beloved. One thing about the spiritual path is no matter how far we travel, we always come back to here. We always come back to that center point, back to our union with God, the calm peace of spirit. We might find out when we get back there enough that this is what we're waiting for. This is what I seek. So our souls evolve, and we leave back behind stuff, and then we can unfold into our our authentic self. So part of self-acceptance is giving up the myth of perfection and know that we are whole and complete just as we are. And so I didn't check the daily word till this morning, which is holy. And holy is about being whole and complete, right? Sacredly whole and complete. And to me, that's one of the biggest things to remember is that I am whole and complete on my own, right? I don't need to go on Amazon and get another thing. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this. I am just fine the way I am. So Beckwith goes on to say, no matter how well we live up to them, these standards, if we have not created a welcome home in our hearts for ourselves, we will not be comfortable in our own skin. As long as we accumulate enough outer evidence of having arrived at the good life, we prevent ourselves from relaxing into self-acceptance. So what I found was useful, one of the useful things in this book was he delineated the difference between perfection and a standard of excellence. Both require commitment, discipline, and one-pointedness. However, they differ in their motives and their results. A perfectionist must outstrip the competition and satisfy the ego. Sometimes they don't even know what they're doing. It's just so impulsive. A person who functions at a standard of excellence reflects his or her personal best while satisfying the heart. Those seeking perfection push others aside for the sake of personal gain, and those who strive for excellence seek success for others as well as for themselves. So a couple months ago in June, I was here. We shared that it was a holiday weekend, the celebration weekend of my ordination in 2004. So the way it went then was graduated and ordained on a Thursday, and on the next Monday we had the weekend off. I started working in a retreat department in Unity Village, and this lesson of giving up perfection was at least my lesson in retreats, if not our whole team. let me be clear, we all wanted to do really, really good work. Don't we always want to do that, right? I don't think we go to a job and go, I'm going to be that slacker. So we wanted to work, and after all, this was the Lord's work. So we recognized that the retreat guests came to Unity Village with great high expectations of their experience. And we were part of a new team because 6 months prior, they had released the existing retreat team and announced that they weren't going to have retreats anymore. And then they decided, maybe that wasn't a good idea, let's start over again. So there were 3 ministers and 1 assistant. And none of us had knowledge of running a retreat department or what retreats were. The other people were long gone, nor did we have the resources. We were doing things on a shoestring. So my teammates and I worked daily on giving our personal best, and we really learned a lot. Collectively, we made many mistakes. After another year, my 3 teammates left. They left. I'll just say they left. And a new team was formed, and this new team came in, and they had high expectations for perfection. And I remember with the one woman on the team, I said, look, this is not about perfection. For me, it's about excellence. And there's a difference. Every day, I'm going to do the best I can because there's so much I can't control here. I can't control that lodging did not make any extra rooms up, and that one of the rooms doesn't have air conditioning in 100-degree weather, right? I can't control that. All I can do is respond in kind. And even as a retreat minister, where the small print did not talk about making up rooms on Saturday nights, you just do it. So there's that, and then there's reservations, and then we left the person at the airport for 8 hours. The chauffeur service, the limo service. I can't, there's not a whole lot I can do, but I can only respond and try and make it better. So what we recognized was there were lots of systems in the Unity headquarters that needed to be corrected. And once we started impacting those, it was better. But watching people let go of perfectionists, let go of the need to be perfect, I thought, you're just going to bust your head out if you keep doing this. You just can't. And so I had to really discipline myself that at the end of the day, I realized I had given my best. I'd given my best. Even though there were mistakes, I'd given my best. Had I ever been in a situation where there were so many mistakes? No. But I couldn't take it all on myself, and I could, as my problem. I can only dent it as much as I could, right? So it was a great lesson. And perfection wasn't unachievable. So what was I going to do? I was going to make it the best I could. So looking back on that first year, particularly in retreats, I was there 3.5 years. My special lessons were profound. And mostly on the mistakes, and as I said, the do-overs and the be-overs. And it was really, in the end game, all about creating relationship. So being a new team, none of us had any relationship with any other people at Unity Village. So we had to do that over time. You just don't walk, I don't know. It became clear to me built on relationships, built on, give and take. So what I saw in all situations was God is present. It's all good. How do I respond to make a difference in these guests' lives, right? And in the people that I'm interacting with. I'm not going to get anywhere if I blow my top, aren't perfect, or yell at somebody that things didn't get done. Like the housekeeper is just like, let's go and talk about how we can get this done next time. Can't we have 3 other rooms made up in case this ancient air conditioning goes out, which it did quite frequently. So I like that paraphrase of the daily work today about holy. I'm holy. I see holiness everywhere and in everyone. I see fullness and completeness in everyone. It is done. It is so. And in me, don't forget me. Who is this? We were talking, Christine and I were talking. Who's the most difficult person to forgive? Come on. Okay, one husband. But then in the end game, we can project it out, and we can finally realize our role in it, right? Forgiving ourselves when we realize what our role, R-O-L-E, is in it. It's a difficult thing, you know, because particularly if we've been in the business of projecting it outward in it so. And when we get to unity, that's one of those things, we get to take responsibility for our lives, not a happy small print, right? Actually, invisible. So back when I was 20, I was an intern in New York City at the largest and most prestigious architectural firm in the United States. And it was known for its masterful work that appeared perfect, and they had a lot of perfection. In fact, I was attracted to a lot of these perfect firms. So I was totally enchanted with New York City. It had been my dream to somehow live in New York City by the time I was 30, and here I was 20. I had a room at the Grand Central YWCA. I was on top of the world. So one night, about 3 weeks in, I took a walk. I lived on 45th Street. I walked over towards Fifth Avenue, and there was a Doubleday bookstore. I love books. I went in, and I found a book that had a profound change in my life. It was by a Methodist minister writer who just documented his ponderings, and it was called Notes of Myself, My Struggle to Become a Person. 2 quotes shaped my life that night. I'm only going to tell you one today. This is the one. Perfectionism is slow death. If everything would turn out just like I would want it to, just like I would plan for it to, then I would never experience anything new. My life would be an endless repetition of stale successes. When I make a mistake, I experience something unexpected. As I look back on my life, one of the most constant and powerful things I've experienced within myself is the desire to be more than I am at the moment, and an unwillingness to let myself remain where I am. A desire to do more, learn more, express more, a desire to grow, improve, accomplish, expand. I used to interpret this inner push as meaning that there was some one thing out there I wanted to do, or be, or to have. And I have spent too much of my life trying to find it. But now I know that this energy within me is seeking more than the mate, or the profession, or the religion, more even than pleasure or power or meaning. It is seeking out more of me. Better it is, thank God, flushing out more of me. Letting go. Letting go of that which no longer serves us and embracing that which we want in our lives, which is peace of mind. So I can still remember what a relief those words were for me. You want to hear the other quote? I don't have it written down, but the paraphrasing is, not everybody likes me, so I don't have to like everybody else, and then I just am who I am. So if I am who I am, you know, that's it. It's my authentic self. I don't have to be there. And that was another relief. These were little life lessons that I didn't learn until that moment, right? Here I am at this big company with all these standards of perfection. And this is the first time they hired, I call it a little hayseed from Ohio, because my impression of them was anything west of the Hudson River was no area. Right? So they never had anybody from the University of Cincinnati before, and they were surprised. So was I. But this whole thing about perfection, it wasn't all about the perfection that I set up in my life. It was about staying awake for the goodness in my life and then being responsible for the mistakes, being awake, being alert, and not being so driven by perfection. So what just came to mind is one of the tasks I had as a intern. So this was my second internship. Was they had these boards, and then they were 9 by 9 inch boards. So you get a exacto knife and you cut them, and then you paste pictures on them. And so I think I had to do 20 of them. And what I had done in school was I was not good. I still affirm that. I don't even want to change that in my life. I was not a good cutter. So I would buy or make the guy dinner to come over and cut all my naps. He wasn't with me at the job. So I kept cutting, they did, and I kept cutting. And then what they did was they put them up on the walls that made a grid, and they were all different sizes. They all should have been 9 by 9. And so she took pictures of this grade. It's just like, I never got, they just never had to do that. So, and then they asked our professors the summer before I went, how act? And they go, well, you know when you're on the job, it's like a big gulp, like, yeah, we're not that too. Trial by error, trial by error. And so, when you're just open to learn and open, I call me a spunky little intern, when you're open, then people are more forgiving and allowing to help you along. And yet, they had a certain standard of perfection that I did not live up to. So, there's a minister, a union minister named Robert Erko. He is an expert on the Aramaic language and culture of Jesus. So Jesus' native language was Aramaic. And he maintains, Rocco, my buddy Rocco, he maintains that we need to understand that language and those customs to understand what's happening with Jesus. So as you can imagine, he's asked quite a bit what Jesus' message was in some things. And this is the message I'm going to give you from the King James translation. Jesus speaks the spiritual thought to his disciples. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. Well, Rocco cautions us that we must not take the quotes literally. It's not the matter of the exact words. Rather, it's Jesus' thought that matters, because Jesus' main message was, I didn't come to abolish the laws of things you live by, make them fulfill, make them right. It's not the letter of the law, it's the spirit of the law. And in this, it's the spirit of what he's talking about. So, Rocco makes a problem with the translation, but King James specifically, that the Aramaic word gamera has been translated into Greek and then into English as perfect. So first they translated to Greek, and then they translated to English, and that's how it came up with the word perfect. So our understanding in English of the word perfect has several meanings, none of which carry out Jesus' idea. He translates Rocco the same verse directly from the Aramaic as conveying Jesus' idea as this. Every one of you, therefore, be inclusive, even as your Father in heaven is all inclusive. Isn't that a little different? Isn't that expansive? It doesn't have the burden of that word perfect. It's like I can be open to whatever's happening here. I can make mistakes and still recover. I can respond with love no matter what's happening. So the Aramaic word gamera means complete, whole, mature, perfect, thorough, finished, inclusive. And Jesus does not mean that one should be perfect in character as God is perfect. It means for one to be mature is to be inclusive in understanding, to move in and from spiritual maturity in all actions. So this is way big part of waking up and accepting ourselves just as we are. Because once we accept ourselves as we are, then we can move on to the next thing in our evolution of being totally our authentic selves. So, when we wake up to who we are, the very core of our being, we're children of a loving God, and we are whole and complete just as we are. And speaking of radical self-acceptance, the word radical speaks to the core, the root and the foundation of your authentic self. And as we unveil more and more of our authentic self, self-acceptance becomes easier to be. So there is a helpful tool. Are you interested in that? Yeah. It's available to us at all times. Meditation. You heard of it? Yeah. Just quieting yourself. It can be briefly and going into silence and connecting with that all-loving Holy Spirit that is God within. And in that connection, we are allowed to let go of any thoughts of mistakes or perfection, just to gaze in the perfectness of God's presence within. So let's get comfortable in our seats and use this tool. of going within, of connecting with Source. So I invite you to just get comfortable in your seats and realize in your bodies as you stand, is there any place that's uncomfortable? And just focus on that and let go of the tension here. And then bring your attention back to the heart space and to your breath. Breathe gently. Just watching the rhythm of your breath going in and out as we connect together in the silence. Invite you to let go and sink into that comfort of peace and love that is all surrounding us, available at any time, the holiness within. And we do that in the silence. So I invite you to come back to this space and time. And allow yourself to be guided by your inner voice, your inner authentic self, allowing you to be just who you are in this moment and every moment, knowing that we are one with God, and it's a holy, holy space that we are inhabiting. So we say thank you, God, this time together. Amen.
In the stillness of this moment, there is love. There is love. In the stillness of this moment, there is love. There is love, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is love. I am peace. I am love. I am peace.
So as we return our thoughts to this place, it's time to give to this ministry our loves and offerings. If you like to take them out, hold them in your hand as we say our blessing. Divine Mother, through me, bless us and multiply all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Gratitude for glory. Gratitude for me. Gratitude to the left of me. Gratitude to the right of me. Gratitude for all of me. Gratitude for all of me. Gratitude in me. Gratitude all around so grateful. I'm 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 so grateful.
As the ushers bring the offerings forward, Reverend Bill will open and accept them.
Come on, right? When we receive offerings, it is generously given for the welfare of the spiritual community and ourselves, the law that has given we receive. It's an endless cycle. And we are so grateful for this spiritual community, for each other, the teachings, and for the ability to be here and meet in person and to share these great teachings. So we say thank you, God, for blessing us this day with these offerings. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. We have many, many activities going on right now, some of them ongoing and some new ones coming up. So everything that you need to know about anything outside on the table. So if you don't hear me talking about something you're interested in, you can find the info out there and you can catch one of us and ask us about it. Today, the Board of Trustees is presenting an ice cream social right after the service. It's sort of like a summertime version of a fireside chat. The board will be here, you can chat with them, answer questions, and enjoy some summertime ice cream. Next week, Reverend Linda Ketchum is presenting a forgiveness workshop. And as we learned today, forgiveness is probably the greatest thing you can do for yourself. It will be after the service, starts at 12:30, and it's $25 per person. However, any two people sign up together, it's $40 for the two of you. And the sign-up sheet is in the lobby. The annual World Day of Prayer, Community's World Day of Prayer, begins at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, September 7th, and runs until 7 p.m. Thursday, September 8th. This year, the Unity Worldwide program will be online only, and the info is in the lobby on how you can participate online. We also have the prayer requests out there. As you know, each year you put the names of however many people, dozens, hundreds, that you would like to have held in prayer during the World Day of Prayer. We will make sure that these get sent to Silent Unity in time for that day. And then they'll also, of course, hold them in prayer for 30 days after that. Our newly formed Care and Compassion team that reaches out to our Unity community, to anyone who may be hurting or grieving, recovering from illness. If you become aware of somebody that you think could use this, there's a sheet out in the lobby. I think there's some in the backs of the chairs now, where you can let us know. And we will get a hold of this person, contact them by phone, and see if we can offer some assistance, some comfort, for whatever reason might be. And after the service, Gloria back in the left corner is going to be out in the lobby and be happy to talk to you about joining people or any questions you might have. On August 26th, which is a Friday night, we're going to have a weenie roast outside, weather permitting. If not, we'll get inside. Everyone's welcome, friends, family, kids, whoever, bring something to drink, something to share, and to share. And we'll just have a little roast and have some fun. Okay, now looking ahead a little bit. On Saturday, October 15th, we're presenting our second mystical afternoon. Anyone attended this last year in November, early November, and it was well received. Beautiful turnout. We intend to do that even better this year. You can learn different healing modalities, like EFT tapping, opening your mind to intuition, ancient ruins, guided imagery meditation, and probably some new ones this year. If you would like to teach or present a short class during this event, please sign up on the table out there. You can talk to me or Jerry down in the middle there. We'll be happy to answer questions about it and help you sign up for it. And like I said, I'll be able to answer questions for that too. Then, looking ahead a little bit further, find it, what I did here. On November 12th, which really isn't as far away as it seems like it is, we will be having our second annual holiday craft bazaar. This is the second annual, not counting COVID. This is a call out for crafters. If you are interested in having a table to sell your crafts and wares, people had tables for all different sorts of things besides just crafts. Some people have some beautiful antiques and crystals and all different sorts of things that they were brought to sell. We have a great time. It's $25 per table. Okay, and then whatever you sell is, your own income from that. We do ask each one who's crafting to donate something towards a basket that we'll be using as a door prize. All kinds of information is going to be coming out on that as we go down the line. I'm just right now trying to get the word out to everybody who might be interested in crafting and having a table. Okay, and I believe that will be all we'll do today. Like I said, everything else is out on the table. Please stay for ice cream. And let's stand, and we will do our song. Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me.